I cannot believe we are finally here talking about Superman. This has been a movie that I've been following ever since it was announced. All the set photos, all of the rumors, all the leaks, everything. And I finally watched it. Now, to really understand what Superman got right and what it got wrong for me, we have to go back. We have to go back to Man of Steel, because Man of Steel was basically my entryway into the character. I never really cared for Superman growing up. I was way more of a Batman guy. I loved Batman. That was no problem. But Superman, I just never really clicked with the character. I always thought he was kind of boring, just a little bit, goody two-shoes, a little too powerful, where no one could really beat him. So I thought he was kind of boring. Man of Steel came along at the right time in my life, with the action, with the spectacle, with a very likable Superman in Henry Cavill. I just clicked with that character a lot. But Zack Snyder's vision in Man of Steel, I get why. I totally understand why people didn't gravitate towards it and had a lot of issues with his portrayal of Superman. Now, back then, loved what he was doing. Now, after years of looking back on the animated series, at the other iterations of Superman, I understand now. Completely understand why people are upset. But that movie did so much for me as far as getting me into the character, and Hans Zimmer's score on that movie was just a nice cherry on top. Like I said, I am a Man of Steel defender. I understand why people have an issue with it, but that was what got me into the character. But Superman is exactly what I needed now. Now, the big question on my mind for the last 2 years, ever since the movie was announced, is this movie, is all the shakeup, is all the restructuring gonna be worth it? My spoiler-free answer to that, absolutely yes. Look, the movie is just a lot of fun from start to finish. It moves very fast. The movie is non-stop. It throws you right into not even just the plot of what's happening, but it throws you right into the world, and it just expects you to pick up on the clues, pick up on the dialogue, put the story together yourself, and go on with that. And for the most part, that really works. Some of the good parts about that is that there's no downtime. It moves very fast. There's no fluff. It's just go, go, go. And I think a lot of people can appreciate that. Now, at the same time, this movie is stuffed with characters. We have heroes, we have villains, we have civilians, we have all these characters who bring something to the story or to the world, but some of them do get the short end of the stick, and you kind of expected that going in, and I just wish that we got a little bit more time with all of these characters. Even the ones that get more time, I want more time with them, but especially the ones that we get a little bit less backstory or just them on screen in general. I wanted more of them. And even though I wish I could have seen these characters a lot more throughout the movie, because it moves so fast, it is so focused throughout the entire runtime, where you don't feel that runtime of 2 hours. It's a short movie. For a superhero movie, it's kind of on the shorter end, but because it's shorter and because it's focused, it works so well. It's over before you know it because it's such a good time. Now, moving on to the characters of Superman, we gotta start with Superman himself, David Corenswet. Like I said before, I was a huge Henry Cavill Superman fan. That's what got me into the character. But now watching this movie and seeing what David Corenswet brought to the character, that is Superman. And what's cool about this is that this is the Superman that we're getting for 10, 15, 20 years down the road. This is the guy that we get to stick with. And I am so happy that James Gunn chose this guy to lead the DCU, because he brought everything that Superman is to this performance. But I really do wish that we actually got more of Clark Kent. I wish we got more of him being Clark Kent at the Daily Planet, kind of teetering on how to balance the work life, the Clark Kent life, and the Superman life. They kind of mess with that a little bit in this, but I do wish we got more of that. So hopefully we get more of that in the sequel. David Corenswet's Superman is a very confident, very sure of himself Superman at the beginning of the movie. And then he obviously goes through some things that we've seen before so many times in comic book movies, where the hero's at the top of his game, something happens and he starts doubting himself, he's unsure about himself. The biggest comparison I can give you is Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. What Peter goes through in there, kind of similar over here, but the thing that changes it for me and really makes it stand out is David Corenswet's acting. Like, you believe this dude is isolated, he's scared, he doesn't know what to do, he's unsure of himself, and then you really believe that there is no one that will ever understand what he's going through, because there's no one else like him on this planet. And he just sells that to me. And because that's kind of the driving force behind the movie, It works. It works so well. And then Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. My God, this is the Lois Lane that we need, that you need, that everybody needs to see, because she is not this damsel in distress that we get all the time in these movies. Like, we don't need this person to always need help every 2 seconds. She holds her own, she's a great journalist, and she pushes Superman and Clark Kent to the edge in a good way. And those two characters, Rachel Brosnahan and David Corenswet, their characters, the chemistry is unreal. It's like unmatched. It's like literally when you see them together and their interactions together, whether it's romantic, whether they're butting heads, it doesn't really matter. You understand that James Gunn saw them together in the audition and he knew right away, that's who I need. Both of them together, and when you see it on screen, it makes complete sense. Now, the biggest standout for me as far as characters go in Superman has to be Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. My God, this dude is the biggest hater I have ever seen. Why he wants to, beat Superman, the lengths that he goes to actually beat Superman, it's unreal, and it just ramps up as the movie goes on. The dude is a lunatic. I cannot wait to see more of this character in the DCU, because I always compare this, and just kind of going off on a tangent real quick as far as Marvel goes, they're not really that strong in the villain department, where after 30 plus movies and shows and all that stuff, there's very little memorable villains. Right out of the gate, we get one that's gonna stick around for a long time and is very memorable, just like Thanos, like Killmonger, like Loki, things like that. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor shines in this movie. And next up is the Justice Gang, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, Green Lantern, all very different characters, all very different personalities, but they are all on the same team. My standout for this group has to be Mr. Terrific. I loved what he did. James Gunn took this character that no one knows about. People know about him, but you know what I'm saying. He's not he's not a Green Lantern. He's just not a Green Lantern. He's not a Batman, things like that. He took this character and made me want another movie with him. I need to see this character back immediately with his T-spheres and what he can do because of his intellect. Plus he can fight. Now, I'm not trying to go into any spoilers here. That's why it's kind of vague. But Mr. Terrific is going to be a lot of people's favorite in this movie because of what he can do, and he's so mysterious. That's what this movie does so well, is it gives us this group of characters that not a lot of people know about, and they give us just enough detail of what they can do and why we should actually care about them to make us want to see them later on. So when they show up again in another series or a movie or whatever they end up doing with them, we're gonna be there because we need to know more, we want to know more, and that's what they do with the entire Justice Gang. Whether it's Hawkgirl, which kind of gets the least amount of screen time, so I definitely want to see where it goes with her, but then we also get Green Lantern with Guy Gardner, who's this very arrogant, thinks he's God's gift to Earth kind of Green Lantern, where he can do the job, but you don't really want him to be there as far as being a good guy. Like, they're just a lot of different personalities with the Justice Gang, and it's a lot of fun to watch them work. And the character that everybody wants to talk about, Crypto the super dog, he was fantastic. I was actually pretty shocked that they didn't use him more in the movie. He was in it sparingly at the beginning, he's sprinkled throughout the movie, just in a very... he was used in a way that made sense for what they were trying to do with him, with Superman's story, with what was going on. He wasn't overutilized, which could have easily been done because that is one cute dog that's gonna get a lot of people happy to see on screen, but they don't overstuff it, they don't throw him in your face all the time, so when he is on screen, you just have a big grin on your face because of the things that he does. Now, of course, there are way more characters in this movie, but if I was to go through and name all of them and give you all my thoughts on all of them, this video would have been like over an hour. So keep a lookout for my video of the top 10 characters of Superman. It'll be dropping on the channel very soon, so make sure you subscribe so you do not miss it. Now, easily my favorite thing about Superman has to be the world building. I love that they just threw you right into it. They give you a little bit of context at the beginning, but after that, you meet these characters that some people will never have heard of and have never seen, but it's up to you to kind of take what they give you and kind of form your own story for now until you learn more later. We don't need another origin story, and I love that. There's characters that might work with, but this is a great example of, hey, you do not need that all the time. You can learn, the audience isn't dumb. We can put together what you're showing us on screen and form our own story, and sometimes that can just be enough. So yeah, I think that the little context that we get for all these characters is a huge strength to the movie, and it makes you want to live in this world longer and learn more about the rules, who else is out there, and just everything that this DC universe has to offer. Now, I went into Superman with sky-high hopes, expectations, everything you could possibly think of. Like I said, I've been following this movie ever since it was announced. Somehow though, Superman brought it and it exceeded my expectations of what this movie could be. The tone it balances with humor, the action, and the big emotional swings that don't have like that nice little joke right after it to break the tension. No, you get to sit with the emotional things that Clark is going through. You get to sit with the relationship between Superman and Lois and everybody else with Ma and Pa. It balances things so well. Could it have been longer and, you know, really dive into the dynamics between characters even more? Of course it could. And that is a critique at the end of the day for it. But it still manages to stuff so many things, so many subplots, so many characters into a narrative that just works. It's not perfect, but it's perfect enough, and it's perfect for me. Now, of course, there are a few plot devices that seem a little bit too over convenient, and the solutions for the problems that are happening just kind of appear and you don't really think twice about it. So a lot of the things that happen as far as fixing things start to come off a little bit convenient, which kind of ruins the immersion at times. It's nothing too bad, but it is there. So at the end of the day, I love both of these movies. I love Man of Steel and I love this new iteration of Superman. Man of Steel was exactly what I needed at that time to make me a fan of the character, but now, years removed from that and seeing exactly what Superman is meant to be, I understand the critiques that people had with Man of Steel. This new Superman though is gonna inspire people. It's gonna show us exactly what the character is all about and make us want even more of that red underpants on the outside and all. And if this is the type of storytelling, if this is the type of quality that we're getting from the DC universe going forward, we are in for something special. We are eating good. DC is back. Did this new Superman change how you saw the character? And if it did, how did it compare to Man of Steel for you? Let me know in the comments and make sure you keep a lookout for my video of the top 10 characters in Superman. Thank you so much for watching and I will catch you in the next one.